Right, Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Good morning, good morning, good morning to this the Thursday edition of Vuka Nazo, your morning news analysis show. My name is Cele Ngobese, aka Big Daddy Liberty. Remember, you can get in touch with us here at the BDL show by going to our website. That's at www.bigdaddyliberty.com. And of course, you can also make a financial contribution to the show. Anything from 100 Rand to 150 Rand a month goes a long way in terms of helping us hire the editors and hopefully, please God, the journalists that we can have on the show as we begin to grow it and make it more mainstream. With that being said, good morning, welcome to it. Let's get straight into the news. Okay, we begin here this morning, of course, with a massive protest being held by the Democratic Alliance and quite a few other organizations, Action Society also having been a part of that protest, as they took their grievances directly to the offices of a one asshat police minister. Yes, that's right. I'm talking about Bheki Cele, of course, as they took, as I said, their grievances to him insofar as telling him that it's time for him to go. That protest, of course, happening under the banner of hashtag Cele Must Go. And I must quickly say this, aside from the fact that on this show we are non-partisan, we don't support any political party, we do support this message, though, insofar as that asshat has to vacate that office. And of course, I'm mindful of the fact that law and order, law enforcement, and really the issue of dealing with safety and security in this country goes far beyond just getting rid of asshat himself. I mean, it's far, far deeper reforms required within the South African police service. However, it is encouraging to see the DA fighting this particular issue as it should, and also coming up with proposals which, again, I hate to say it, not that I hate to say it, but like it's right to say it, we actually support. Policing in this country should be devolved as much as possible, and the powers be devolved, as much as possible to as local possible as government. That is, one of the things we cannot continue to do is have this massive, bulky, cumbersome bureaucracy run out of Pretoria that is meant to police all corners of the country and deal with all the diverse crime and really policing needs in the country. That simply hasn't worked. It isn't working, and it's one solution I think the DA has brought forward in this regard. Indeed, the DA itself, if I read from a News 24 piece, John Steenhuisen having a few choice words about this issue. According to Steenhuisen, that's the leader of the Democratic Alliance, who was at this protest, of course, leading it, more than 33,000 people signed a petition to get rid of Bheki Cele. That's the asshat police minister. He's quoted as saying, what unites all these people and what sets them apart from the members of the ANC government is that they have to face the murderers, rapists, and robbers on their own. They don't have, as we really don't, have the luxury of VIP protection units or state-sponsored home security upgrades. He continues on to say that to add insult to injury, not only is Bheki Cele unable to protect people, but he also doesn't want to let DA governments step in to protect them instead. That's John Steenhuisen. Of course, he's talking about the city of Cape Town under its mayor, Jordan Hill Lewis, who's been pushing quite aggressively for the resources of the South African police services to be devolved down to him as mayor so that he can bolster his local law enforcement, who do, at face value at the very least, do contribute much better to addressing safety and security in local communities. Indeed, he cited some really fantastic numbers that his LEAP officers, I believe is what they're called, have achieved in driving down crime in certain key areas. Just one more quote from this particular piece, where it goes on to say that the DA-led governments of the Western Cape and the city of Cape Town have been lobbying for police functions to be devolved, but Cele, the asshat, has fiercely opposed these attempts, often disparaging the city of Cape Town's own law enforcement agencies. End of quote. Of course he will. Of course he'll disparage them, because ultimately Bheki Cele is useless at his job. There's nothing worse than someone who doesn't know what they're doing, is dependent on the job, insofar as an income, a salary, as this filthy politician is, but has the lack of foresight to recognize that actually maybe he ought to get out of the way to allow other people who know what they're doing to get on with the work. Bheki Cele does not care enough about you and me and our safety, our lives, our liberty, our property rights. He couldn't give a flying fudge about those things. For as long as he is eating and benefiting and enjoying the power, the trappings, and the delusions, pardon me, of playing Minister of Police, then of course he won't care about the ordinary citizens. So insofar as this particular protest, we definitely wholeheartedly support it because the outcomes within the police service would be far better. South African police service as it is hamstrung not by the ordinary police, the rank and file, who I've always argued wake up daily, don those bulletproof vests, put on those service pistols on their hips, don the uniform, and patrol our streets, going to the darkest alleys in order to protect us. Those police officers, the good police officers, are not the problem. What is the problem and what needs the reform is a wholesale removal of all of the leadership, the political leadership, including the asshat police minister and the management of SAPS, to refresh that, to repurpose our SAPS, and of course to capacitate them. Plenty of interventions and solutions can go into that. I don't have the time to discuss them here, but I can definitely say this in conclusion. The first step should be #Cele Must Go. Right, I take you to Grootvlei now in Mpumalanga, where another police station has been attacked and robbed. Again? Yes, again. Robbed, of course, of their firearms and ammunition, held up, of course, the police officers at that police station on Friday by 3 armed robbers who then proceeded, after tying up the police officers who were at the police station, proceeded to ransack it and loot it of its, as I said, weapons, including a 1R5 pistol, one R5 rifle, 3 9mm pistols, and a shotgun with over 180 live rounds of ammunition were also taken from the police station. Now, if you are someone who watches the Big Daddy Liberty show quite a lot, you'll know that we've had this conversation before around how SAPS, or the South African Police Service, are perhaps some of the biggest leakers of rifles and pistols, that is, of firearms, to the criminals in this country, either A, through negligence, or B, through criminal syndicates who are basically looting from the police coffers in order to fund the the criminals in this country. Now, let me take it one step further, and let me quickly read from the City Press that covered this particular issue, where the police, in response to this, are, no duh, Sherlock, are saying that this could have been an inside job. Anyway, the robbery, of course, the spokesperson for the police in Mpumalanga, A1 Selvi Mokhala, says the following. Now, the robbery of police stations for weapons and ammunition could be an inside job, according to the Mpumalanga spokesperson Uselvi. This follows, of course, a third attack in police stations in 2 years. Now, let me refresh your memory very quickly as to where those other robberies were that Uselvi is speaking about, where the piece continues to say, as far back as June 16th this year, armed robbers had ambushed the police in Kwaggafontein station at around 10 p.m., confiscating, of course, or rather stealing their firearms. In September 2020, 2 men robbed the Bartblas police station of an R5 rifle and, of course, 2 pistols as well as ammunition in that part of the world. Now, as I said, it's for all of the protestations of a one asshat police minister who always says, well, it's those damn civilians, he always says, who must shut up and stop giving away the guns to the criminals. For as much as he keeps claiming, him and Gunfree SA, of course, that it's ordinary citizens who are arming these criminals, in reality, it is his folks. Maybe he needs to look closer to home at some crooks, and corrupt elements within the SAPS who are either A, giving these rifles and guns away and renting them in most cases to criminals for a quick buck on the side, a criminal buck on the side, or B, through negligence, are losing their service pistols, and of course, these finding their way in the hands of criminals. The SAPS systems around this have to be tightened up much more, because there are other incidents that have happened in the past that lend themselves to showing that there is a massive problem within the police in this regard. I mean, a whole Norwood police station, you'll remember, fell under investigation after it was revealed as having leaking guns to criminals and criminal elements, often the most violent criminals, to be specific. So where to from here? Well, I would say this: a sharp introspection is required, a updating of the systems used by police in order to secure their weaponry is desperately required. And beyond that, you now have a situation where accountability should be top of mind. Why is it, for instance, that we seldom hear, aside from a few prominent cases here and there, why are we not hearing that there is a systemic, almost SAPS-wide cleanup and updating of their systems in order to prevent these sort of crimes? For how long should South Africans die, often at the hands of criminals holding police firearms? For how long should that be the case until a certain asshat, or indeed a new government, takes control of the situation? This is the conversation we've been having on the show as we continue to advocate that for as long as this is the status quo, I would then rather a situation where more law-abiding citizens have firearms and the means to defend themselves, because clearly the police, as it currently stands, simply cannot fulfill that mandate. All right, folks, we're going to cap this one off here this morning on the Thursday edition of Vuka Nazo, your morning news analysis show. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment, and remember, share this video. That's all I really ask of you guys. Hit the like button and share this video, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube in particular, please subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit that bell notification so that every weekday from 7 a.m. you'll be notified when Vuka Nazo is on your screen. So that being said, have a great morning, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow on Vuka Nazo.